For every loved and overused EVO in Clash Royale, you can find one that is equally as hated and despised by all the players. So today, we'll be going through the most hated and the most loved card EVOs, starting with the Mega Knight. Now, leaving the fact that the Mega Knight is a hated card in general due to its overly high usage rate between mid-ladder players, its EVO, however, is surprisingly even more hated. At its core, the EVO Mega Knight keeps the same stats and attack as the normal version of the card, but it adds a Mega Uppercut, which launches enemy troops into the direction of the nearest crown tower. This card is a definition of fun to use, but miserable to face. Place it down at the right time, and it eliminates and knocks back any win condition your opponent might have, whether it's a Hog, a Royal Giant, or even a Valkyrie tanking for the troops behind it. It shuts them down completely. This insane power to delete a win condition immediately makes this card often labeled as a no-skill card. Just place an EVO Mega Knight and suddenly your opponent's push is rendered completely useless. Its Mega Uppercut, however, as useful as it is, can also be its main disadvantage, and this is why this card is on the most hated list. The Mega Uppercut knocking incoming enemy troops back could sometimes actually knock it back outside of the range of your crown tower, decreasing the damage you're dealing and even possibly putting yourself at a disadvantage, since the Mega Knight will hop onto the enemy troop and sometimes lands in your enemy crown tower range, turning a good defense into a bad end result for you. Or if you have any splash damage support troops in the back, the EVO Mega Knight's uppercut will actually work against you, as it disperses the enemy's troops, limiting the value your splash damage gets. All in all, the EVO Mega Knight can be a headache for your opponent, but it equally can be a headache for you as well, if not played right. Unlike the EVO Furnace, where you're bound to get maximum value when you play it. Previously a building with one of the lowest usage rates ever, the EVO Furnace now sits comfortably at the head of the most loved EVOs list, simply due to its incredible balance ability as well as its versatility, where it can fit into many decks, making it super useful. Added just recently in the August 2025 update, the card quickly rose to the top of most decks in the game. When the Furnace attacks, its fireball spawn speed decreases to 1.8 seconds, down from the normal 5. So having this card in the back melting the enemy's push will spawn endless fireballs that would deal massive damage to any troop in front of it. At its launch, the Furnace reached a peak usage rate of 89%. The card was the most broken card of all time, spawning fireballs at a very fast rate, completely melting any push in front of it with every hit, but a nerf later reduced its hit points as well as fireball spawn speed by 33%, and then a nerf later made its movement speed slightly faster, significantly making it weaker, but it's still one of the best EVOs out there. The EVO Furnace doesn't wrap the card's identity or makes it any more overpowered or broken. It enhances it, giving you that extra ability that can come quite handy in every case, making it one of the most loved EVOs out there. But EVO Recruits, however, are definitely hated. The EVO Royal Recruits are not hated because they are overpowered, nor because they are broken. They are simply hated because it's labeled as the ultimate no skill card. They are a headache every time they're placed, they slow the match down and require no skill at all. Split EVO Royal Recruits and watch them either take down a tower or stand as a wall between your troops and the enemy's tower. Similar to the normal recruits, EVO Recruits also have a big shield protecting them, but when that shield goes away, it gives them the ability to charge up to the enemy troops, dealing 2 times the damage if they hit. Combine that with Split Royal Hogs and you successfully have overwhelmed both lanes of your opponent's tower. Now you just sit back and enjoy them scramble for a fireball or a splash troop to defend, and all you did was place one card down. Don't be mistaken, however, they are fairly easy to defend against, but there's something about seeing 6 shielded troops being deployed by your opponent over and over again just makes everyone hate them. Regular recruits were already known for slowing the game down, but the EVOs pushes that defensive identity to absurd levels. This is why you'll find EVO Recruits sitting near the top of the most hated lists on Reddit and in tier ranking videos. Players simply call them the no-brain defense. The EVO Recruits make you inevitably love cards like our next EVO on the most loved list, the EVO Valkyrie. Normal Valkyrie is already one of the most loved cards out there. It's a fairly cheap great mini tank that can defend against most cards on the field, and if left alone can also deal great tower damage, but its EVO version makes it 10 times more lovable, adding a tornado to its spinning animation, pulling everything to its hit radius, and it hits both ground or air troops, making this arguably one of the best EVOs in the game. Even the official EVO Valkyrie guide in the game shows it perfectly defending a Golem and a Night Witch. This alone is defending a 12 elixir push with a single 4 elixir card. Across Reddit and competitive discussions, players constantly call her one of the best balanced evolutions in the game. She is strong in almost every matchup, but never feels unfair. Her value depends on positioning and timing, not just random effects or bailout mechanics. But moving on from the most loved EVO, we have arguably one of the worst and most hated EVOs of all time, the Goblin Drill. The EVO Goblin Drill might be one of the most disappointing evolutions ever added to the game. Instead of improving the card's core identity like an evolution should do, it accidentally makes it worse. For the normal card, the base Goblin Drill serves as a tank to the spawn goblins, leaving them to deal massive damage. Pairing that with a support card like a bomber, and you can melt a tower. The EVO Goblin Drill, however, completely destroys that mechanic. Due to a cycling nature of going underground when it reaches a specific hit point, this allows the tower to relock its attack to the goblins or the support card, completely shutting them down and eliminating the main damage dealers. So even when ignored, EVO Drill deals less tower damage than the normal version. This is why the EVO Drill sits at the bottom of nearly every community tier list. Players don't argue about whether it's too strong or too weak, they just agree it's bad design. There's no deck that benefits from using it, no matchup where it performs better, and no player who feels rewarded for including it. So while most hated evolutions frustrate people by being oppressive or overpowered, the Goblin Drill is hated for the opposite reason. It's a waste of an EVO spot. EVO Skeletons, however, when played right, are one of the most loved and strong EVOs in the game. For just one elixir, the simple 3 skeletons can turn into 8 skeletons, dealing massive damage, stopping every incoming tank if left ignored, for a big positive elixir trade. Even though they have been nerfed a couple of times, they are still one of the top EVO choices in many decks. They are powerful, but they don't feel unfair. You still need to place them well, time them precisely, and support them properly to get the value. In cycle decks like Minor Poison or Hawk 2.6, they create new defensive options, absorbing hits, baiting spells, or even turning into a surprise counter push. And because they only cost 1 elixir, they fit seamlessly into nearly any deck without demanding a full rework of your win condition. Moving on, we have the Goblin Cage, and it is easily on the most hated EVOs list. Similar to the EVO Mega Knight, it is hated because it can simply eliminate a win condition or even a heavy tank in the blink of an eye, rendering any push completely useless. The evolved ability is Cage Pull. When a ground troop steps within about 3 tiles, the cage pulls that unit inside and damages it over time until either the troop is destroyed or the cage goes down. And when the cage finally breaks, it still spawns a full Goblin Brawler. It can fully counter a P.E.K.K.A, a Giant, a Mega Knight, or a Skeleton Giant if left ignored, making it a pain to deal with on the offense. It also creates a sort of panic-proof defense. Just drop the cage late, pull the threat off your tower, and the Brawler rolls out to mop up the leftovers. This feels like a bailout to the attacker who just invested 8 to 10 elixir in a carefully timed push. Next, we have the EVO Archers. For just 3 elixir, the evolved Archers have very high DPS with their power shot. They have good health, great range, and can attack both air and ground troops, making it one of the best versatile choice of support cards in almost any deck. It is not overpowered, nor is it a letdown. The EVO Archers are the perfect balance of a great card with a great added ability to give it that extra push. EVO Archers are frequently praised for offering a high upside without destroying balance. They reward smart placement, timing, and awareness of your opponent's cycle, rather than brute forcing wins and place and pray tactics. Yes, they are weaker if they're dropped too close to the enemy or caught within 5 tiles, thus losing the power shot, but they are still a fairly balanced support card that doesn't make it seem like the game is broken every time they're placed. Unlike the EVO Firecracker, which is simply a pain to deal with, gives massive chip damage value, and can single-handedly turn a mediocre push into a 3-star push just by shooting crackers from far away. The Firecracker is hated for 2 reasons. The first being its special ability to sometimes turn into a cameraman instead of an attacking troop when faced with an incoming push, and the second is its massive EVO ability. Instead of just a single shoot and splash, the evolved version fires a rocket that bursts into 5 shrapnel pieces, and those shrapnel leave behind sparks that deal damage over time. That extra damage over time and wider splash turned the card from a niche support into a constant threat. On offense or defense, EVO Firecracker chips, controls lanes, and pulls value far beyond what her 3 elixir might suggest. Place it at the bridge behind the Mega Knight and watch it slowly take half of the tower's hit points on its own, despite your opponent defending your win condition perfectly, and there's simply nothing they can do about it. Leaving the Firecracker's ability to do its job will make you lose tower health whether you like it or not. You can definitely take advantage of Firecracker's long range to activate your King Tower almost every time, but still, this doesn't change the fact that Firecracker is almost universally hated and not even used that much, since in many decks where she's included, other EVOs are simply better value. Take the Wall Breakers for example, which fall under our most loved EVOs list. EVO Wall Breakers are called running Fireball. They still cost 2 elixir, spawns 2 barrels, and keeps the fast move and explode identity of the base card. What changes is the second phase. If the barrel is stopped before reaching the target, 2 smaller runner units spawn, and they keep the pressure going. In effect, you get 2 lives for 1 low cost and a damage profile that demands a serious answer. What makes them so versatile as well is that they can be played perfectly on defense, using them to kite any enemy troop away from your crown tower, letting them eat tower damage along the way as the wall breakers pull them through the other lane. It's fun comes from its great damage output. Ignore them and take big damage, but overcommit and get punished by the runner. They are not too overpowered, nor are they useless. They are are a great addition to many decks, and if played right, could take a tower down without even your opponents noticing. But the Evo Barbarians, however, are hated for simply being useless and providing very minimal addition to their normal version, as well as being easily countered by many cards that are common within most decks. It's the last hated Evo on our list, and it fully deserves to be there. Evo Barbs gives the Barbarians a short burst rage after a few hits, boosting their damage, hit speed, and movement. On paper, it sounds like a great deal. You get an extra rage effect on top of your Barbs for the same elixir price, but in reality, it's a minor add-on to an easily countered card. The Fireball, Furnace, Baby Dragon, Witch, and many others are all cards that can easily counter them with 0 damage taken, leaving you with a useless Evo spot taken by a 5 elixir card. But speaking of the Witch, its Evo version is still to this day one of the most loved and most used Evos in the game. Even after all the nerfs, it still provides incredible value. At the start, Evo Witch gained extra health points for every dead skeleton in the arena, which meant pairing it up with Skeleton Army or any other skeleton troop, and you get a Witch that's hard to deal with. But after being nerfed, the extra hit points are gained only through the skeletons it spawns. But still, it's a very powerful ability that can turn the game around quickly. The Witch on its own is a very powerful and versatile defensive card. Its Evo simply adds on to its use case without it feeling broken or unbalanced, earning her the finest spot on our most loved list. Now let me know in the comments what you think of these two lists. Which ones do you agree with and which ones do you disagree? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.